Welcome to the GCSE Maths Advantage. I'm Dr. James Carter, and every episode I'm going to break down one topic, show you where the marks are, and give you a quick win you can use in your next exam. Whether you're targeting a grade 7 or pushing for a 9, let's get into it.
Hook. Last year, one trigonometry question on the AQA Higher paper cost more students marks than almost any other single question. Not because the sine or cosine was hard, because students drew the triangle wrong. Imagine losing 2 marks because the angle ended up in the wrong place. Stay with me for the next 10 minutes and those questions will feel routine.
The concept. Step 1. Draw the horizontal. When a question talks about angle of elevation or angle of depression, there's always an implied horizontal line. So start with a straight horizontal line across your diagram, even if it feels obvious. Label the observer or the object on that line.
Step 2. Transfer the angle. Angle of elevation means the observer looks up from the horizontal to the top of the object. Angle of depression means they look down from the horizontal to the object. Practically, that means draw a line of sight from the observer to the object, then move the angle onto your triangle at the observer's horizontal. This gives you a right triangle every time.
Step 3. Label opposite and adjacent. Once you have the right triangle, decide which side is opposite the angle and which is adjacent. If the question gives you a horizontal distance and an angle, that horizontal distance is normally the adjacent. If it gives a height and an angle, that height is the opposite. Write O and A on the sides. Examiners like labelled diagrams.
Step 4. Pick the ratio. Opposite over hypotenuse is sine, adjacent over hypotenuse is cosine, opposite over adjacent is tangent. If your known length is adjacent and you want the opposite, use tan. If your known length is hypotenuse and you want opposite, use sine. Say it out loud in the exam. Adjacent and opposite, tan. That helps you avoid swapping sides under pressure. 2 quick examples to make this concrete. Example 1. An observer stands 20 meters from the base of a tower and sees the top at 30 degrees elevation. Draw the horizontal, the line of sight up to the top, label the 20 meters as adjacent, so tan 30 equals opposite over adjacent. So tan 30 equals height over 20. Rearrange to height equals 20 times tan 30. Calculate and you get about 11.55 meters.
Example 2. A pilot sees a car at an angle of depression of 15 degrees while flying at a height of 500 meters. Draw the horizontal through the plane. Transfer the 15-degree angle down to the triangle formed with the ground, and the 500 meters is the opposite of that angle. If you want horizontal distance, use tan again. Tan 15 equals 500 over distance, so distance equals 500 divided by tan 15.
The exam technique. Where are the marks? First mark, diagram. A neat diagram with the horizontal and angle in the right place is often worth an M mark. Second mark, labelling and correct ratio. For example, writing tan 30 equals h over 20. Third mark, correct algebraic rearrangement or a correct calculator step. Final mark, the answer with units and reasonable accuracy. So, even if you can't finish the arithmetic, that diagram and the written method can still earn you marks.
Common mistakes to avoid: placing the angle at the top instead of at the observer, treating the horizontal distance as opposite when it's actually adjacent, forgetting to include units, and premature rounding. For rounding, write down your exact working line. For example, h equals 20 times tan 30. Then calculate and give the final answer to 2 decimal places with meters. That shows the examiner you used a correct method, even if your final rounding is slightly off.
The quick win. Here's a 10-second checklist you can run before you press the calculator. I call it data. D. Draw the horizontal. A. Angle placed at the observer. T. Tag sides as opposite or adjacent. A. Apply the right trig ratio. Say data to yourself as you read the question. Do this and you prevent the 3 most common slips before they happen.
Quick substitution check. Once you have an answer, substitute it back into the trig ratio you wrote. For the tower example, after calculating h equals 11.55, compute tan 30 and check that 11.55 divided by 20 is roughly tan 30. This takes 10 seconds and catches about 90% of arithmetic or side swap errors. Don't skip the check.
That's your quick win for today. If this helped, share it with a friend who's revising. You'll find more worked solutions and revision resources at jcacademyonline.co.uk. Until next time, trust the process and nail that exam. Stay curious.
Worked example walkthrough. Let's apply the full method to a past paper-style question and map the marks. Question. An observer stands 20 meters from a tower. The angle of elevation to the top is 30 degrees. Find the height of the tower. Step A. Draw the horizontal and the line of sight. Label 20 meters as adjacent. M1 for diagram and labeling. Step B. Write the method. Tan 30 equals height over 20. M1 for correct method. Step C. Rearrange. Height equals 20 times tan 30 and calculate to 2 decimal places, 11.55 meters. M1 for correct calculation. Step D. Include units and appropriate rounding for the final mark A1. So a typical mark scheme here gives M1, 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 A1, 4 marks in total. If you only wrote tan 30 equals h over 20 and stopped, you'd still earn 2 method marks. Write it down. Don't just think it.
Further resources and signposting. If you want printable diagrams, extra practice questions, and teacher notes that map each worked solution to marks, visit jcacademyonline.co.uk/resources. There you'll find a practice pack of angle of elevation and depression questions with annotated mark schemes, perfect for timed practice.